SailGP heads to the final stop of the Americas Tour, Halifax, Nova Scotia, where unforgiving waters,
oh my word,
shifting winds,
but we've never seen that before,
and razor-thin margins, he's cutting it close, leave no room for error. The Bonds Flying Roos arrive in Halifax with momentum firmly on their side, leading the fleet as SailGP's most informed team. But the fleet is back to a full lineup.
like a rocket.
On home waters, Giles Scott's North Star Canada will be determined to spoil the party like he's done before. And it will be Giles Scott that claims the win. Welcome to SailGP. As one of the largest cities in eastern Canada, the port city of Halifax becomes the epicenter for racing this weekend. The world's elite sailing athletes converge on North America one more time in Season 6 as the cold waters of the Atlantic once again provide the playing field for the 7th event of the season. Welcome to Halifax, Nova Scotia, as the league makes only its second appearance in Canadian waters. Today, the seawall will be packed with fans excited to watch the world's best sailors take on a very dynamic course in this scenic port city. The hosting North Star will feel the pressure to deliver on home waters, but coming off a top 3 finish at the last event in New York City, the Canadian team has a bit of momentum on their side. The chase is on to put your team in the top 3, not only for this event, but in the overall standings, so that you can qualify for the grand final in November. Alongside Olympian Stevie Morrison and former Emirates GBR athlete Hannah Diamond, I'm Todd Harris. Welcome to the Canada Sail Grand Prix Halifax. After 6 events, it is the proverbial runaway train. The Bonds Flying Roos out in front by 11 points over last year's season champions, Emirates GBR. The U.S. SailGP team hold down third at the moment, just ahead of the season 4 champions, Los Gallos Spain. DS Team France rounds out the top 5. New squad Artemis are in 6th on 29 points, with Germany by Deutsche Bank in 7th. Then a pileup of teams in 8th through 10th, with Rockwell North Star Canada and Red Bull Italy. Wimbledon Brazil and Blackfills of New Zealand are currently sitting at the bottom of the table. With the forecast and course conditions in mind, SailGP has made the decision to use a split fleet format. This weekend, to explain what's in store for the weekend's racing, here's Stevie Morrison.
Well, that's right, Todd. Yeah, we've got 2 groups on the water, Group A and B. 3 races for the 2 groups is planned out there today. There'll be 2 more races for the 2 groups tomorrow. 5 points if you win the race, 1 if you're in 5th. We're still accumulating points, but within your group. So the top 2 on accumulated points from each group will go through to that winner-takes-all final tomorrow. And yeah, now we're going to get to see the groups. And I think what's really, really interesting here, look at that. Bonds Flying Roos, that Group A looks pretty stacked to me. Hannah Burling, Scott Delapierre, massive.
Yeah, that's right. But for me in Group B, I see a real opportunity for US LGP team Artemis and Red Bull Italy to make their mark on this weekend's racing. This weekend's racing is set on Halifax Harbour, and the wind will be coming over the city before hitting the racecourse, so teams will have to react fast to the gusty and shifty winds. There should be some overtaking lanes with the extra space on the course, but with the fleet split into groups and a very short course, the racing will be super fast-paced. Getting out of the blocks well in race 1 is going to be important, as the points are likely to remain close all the way through the qualifying series. A day for the strategists to prove their worth is on the cards today.
And we will kick things off with Group A as they get ready for their first race of 3 scheduled. It'll be Australia, Spain, France, Denmark, Canada, Brazil, and New Zealand. Before we go racing, we check in with a 4th member of our broadcast team who's down on the water providing us the best inside intel. Here's Olympic silver medalist Lisa Darmanin.
Todd, well, I can tell you it is going to be a tough day for the athletes out here in Halifax. Configuration-wise, we are set up under the water with the high-speed T-foils. At the back of the boat, we've got the high-speed rudder winglets. Now, it's a little bit lighter than we expected, so maneuvers are going to be really tough with this setup. In the air, we've got the 24-metre all-purpose wing to help get through the wind range that we're expecting today. And at the front, we've got the large jib. I guess the big news on the ground here is obviously the black foils are back after 4 months and have had a great few days training here in Halifax. We also, of course, had that collision in New York, but good news is all 3 boats are back on the water. So amazing props to the tech team to getting everybody out here. So we might be split fleets, but we do have 13 boats ready to battle it out here in Halifax.
All right, thank you very much, Lisa, as we are now 1:15 away from the first race in Group A. So, Hannah, how do you like this configuration, and what do you think the whole setup will look like?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really tough. With those high-speed foils on, the maneuvers are going to have to be super accurate if they want to keep on the foil.
Under a minute to go before the start of racing. This will be Group A, and they will have 3 races scheduled. Then it'll be Group B, so they'll go back and forth, Stevie. It's going to make it interesting, the transfer between Groups A and B, and we'll have to keep an eye on those battles within.
There's a lot of close battles going to happen. I think what's the most challenging is the wind's been up and down. 10 minutes ago we had a lot more wind. Rain squall went through. The wind's dropped right off. The fleet is on the wrong foils for the current wind. So how do you adapt? How do you make the best of things as we set themselves up for the start? There is more space here. And we see at the moment Brazil, new driver Paul Goodison, they've got a bit of action. We've got the windrows at the bottom of the screen there, 13.7 kilometres an hour. It shows the wind coming out of the west. That red line will turn white when we're good to go. Mubadala Brazil, there is a gap to go into here, trying to find space on the line. Black foils are way out the back. Los Gaios, well, if they can get foiling, they've got a shot, but they look late to me. Who's going to get things right? There's 4 boats on the front row. We're looking for the line to turn white. It's going to go white in 3 seconds. Boom. Flying Ruse, can they nail it? Oh, they're a little late. Brilliant start by Brazil and the new driver, Paul Goodison, out the middle. It's a race to the foils here. Speed build, speed build, speed build as they head towards Mark 1.
And as they approach mark number 1, it is 3 wide. And here comes the Bondsflying Ruse on the inside.
Oh, that magic work. They looked like they were slower than the other boats, but Waterhouse, he's so silky smooth on the flight control. Bondsflying Ruse are up and foiling. Black foils are out the back. Should be a big lead for the Aussies if they can stay above 30. No, they're dropping. Look, the speed's at the top of the mast there, 30 kilometres an hour. That's the magic number. Really gusty under the shoreline, Hannah, there.
Yeah, that's right. It looks like they're just in a really light patch of wind there. You can see the arrows on the screen there, all in that blue colour, showing not so much of a wind strength difference across the course here, but they're going to have to be really patient and get back up on the foil as soon as they can.
Here you see the massive crowd in the distance, so everything kind of comes to a halt as they approach mark number 1. They had the pressure, Stevie, and then they've just sailed into a pocket of no wind whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just so tense right now, isn't it? You can see a minute ago they had good breeze. They're right under the shoreline.
I think we just use it to get out. It sounds good. Easing for me.
Yes, that's Tom Slingsby just painting the picture there. He's going to hold away from the... As they come towards the bottom of our screen and turn downwinds, they're sailing away from the sort of skyline here in Halifax. The further they get away from that, the more wind they'll get.
Use this all the way down.
Rolex sprint leader. No surprise there as the Bondsflying Ruse get it as they work that inside line, Stevie. They were 4 wide as they were approaching mark number 1, and somehow Tom Slingsby hit the turbo boost and they were able to pull ahead. So now they'll have the complete course to themselves to make all the decisions they want to make.
Yeah, big. I mean, a lead is obviously good, and of course when you're at this level, you're looking for the most wind. They've got the first pick, so Slingsby's going to be feeling happy. Interesting, he's gone straight back under the fleet. One thing you can guarantee is the fleet will be disturbing the wind, but he must like what he sees in the long term here. Let's see what happens behind. Rock will come round. They look like they're setting up to follow the Australians. They have got the right of way there. They were clear ahead of the French, so despite the fact that the French are on the right of way tack, Rock will own the mark.
I can't pull the wing.
Constant communications on the water as they have now made their way to mark number 1 with the Australians way out in front, which gives us a good opportunity to go down on the water. The closest person to the fleet right now is Lisa Darmanin. So Lisa, where do you want to be, and is there more pressure coming for these 7 teams?
Really need some
Yeah, so as you get further away from the city, the breeze has a little bit more space to build. So in the pre-racing, getting away from the city, kind of where Australia was going, people were able to pop up on the foils. So I think it was the right move, but the only thing that the Brazilians are doing is they might be able to minimise manoeuvres here. You know, it's really tough with all this cloud action, the wind's been coming and going. So obviously really slow right now, but I think in about 15 minutes we're expecting another sort of big cloud to push through and should kick the breeze up and keep things interesting.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Remember, this is Group A, and they have 3 races scheduled for today. There's also Group B. They'll go right after this one, so we'll alternate between A and B. But at the end of the day, Stevie, you want to accumulate as many points as you can going into Super Sunday.
Yeah, all that matters is how you do in your group. And we can see here, middle of the screen, Mubadala Brazil. I've mentioned it briefly. Massive change at the back there. Actually, Martini Grail stepped sideways into the strategist role. Paul Goodison, the strategist, has come on board as a driver, sort of trying to play around with the skill dynamics, see if they can get a better dynamic in the team. Martini more heads out the boat now, Goody driving the boat. Goody comes from a small lake in the north of the UK near Sheffield. That's Paul Goodison there on the wheel. He's looking around, chatting with the rest of the team, but he loves these shifty light conditions, and right now, well, he's not looking bad for day 2 on the job.
No, that's right. And probably not a bad day to get your eye in back on the wheel of an F50, but I think this different style of racing when it's really slow, you know, it counts for the same as any of the other races, so you've really got to make sure you're on it. I think the Bonds Flying Roos are just coming into a bit more pressure here, and this end of the race course is going to be very different to what we've seen at Mark 1.
Yeah, we're just getting breaking news that they're going to finish this race at the windward gate. So, Stevie, the lack of pressure causing these races to go long. We're supposed to get 6 races in today, 3 for each group. Doesn't look like that's going to happen if we go the full length.
Well, I mean, as I say, Todd, I think, yeah, you're right. As it sits at the moment, that's how it is. I think once we get down to this split fleet racing, there's a time limit of 9 minutes. So we need to get down to the gate, top left-hand side of our screen, and then back to the top where all the fans are there on the shoreline in Halifax. They've got to do that in 9 minutes for it to be a scoring rate. And yeah, I mean, you know, it's sort of the beauty and the sometimes hair-pulling out frustrating nature of our sport is 1 minute the taps are on and there's plenty of power, plenty of fuel, they're ripping around on the foils. Next minute it's turned into a little bit more of a game of chess out here, a little bit more tactical placement. The decisions you make 2-3 minutes ago, suddenly they start to play out long term. Slingsby's played the long game very well here, made sure he had the right of way when he met the fleet.
Prix actually looks okay on the right, I've got to say. Copy. What do you guys think? Much clearer air that way. Yep. We can get in.
Like he might look to take a right turn at the bottom. You see, if the right-hand side of our screen, all those boats will be disturbing the wind. So if you turn left, you're going to go back through that disturbed wind. So it'll be interesting if Slingsby goes for that move or keeps it simple, goes straight, sails away from the fleet.
We're throwing a little bit of bias, but it will be much clearer area.
See the blue line superimposed down there, showing the wind direction and the strength. That they get wider and fatter, that means a stronger breeze. Right now, very light. As you can see, the Bonds Flying Roos out in front. Mubadala Brazil sits in second. And then it is Rockwell Denmark currently sitting in fourth, but it shows France ahead of them, that they are closer to the mark. And look at this. Yeah, here's the maneuver.
He's chosen to take the left turn, so he's going to go back through the disturbed wind. It was less distance to sail. Sometimes if you're not sure of anything, Hannah, you take what you are sure of, and one of the things you can be sure of is what's the shortest distance around the course.
Yeah, and I think in these conditions, there's not a huge amount of known variables, so I think they should get through this disturbed air quite quickly, and as soon as they do that, they'll poke their nose out the other side. You can see underneath that shoreline, it was so glassy up there, so I think they probably made the right decision there.
For this side.
7 minutes 47 for the Australians at the bottom gate. They're going to need a bit of a gust of wind to get up to the top in just, well, what, 1 minute and 13 seconds. So they're going to need to get the hammer down on board the Bonds Flying Roos.
So we'll see if they do pick up that pressure, as they will have to cross here behind North Star Canada, who's back in 6th place. Remember, only the top 5 teams in this group will get points, and the 6th and 7th spot get 0 points.
Really tight. Lost Gaios there, of course, one of the real challenges in the season. Well, they're way out the back. The Blackfoils are working their way through the fleet. Burling thinks he's clear ahead. Brave move by Burling. That was marginal if he was overlapped or not. I think Burling's maybe got it right. He's potentially up to 4th here. Lisa, things are changing pretty quickly wind-wise on the water. How's it looking? Is there more coming down the course yet?
Yeah, it's building slowly. I mean, it's nothing crazy coming down the course right now, but enough for the Bonds Flying Roos to get a hull out of the water. Still, the time limit could be an issue here, but the wind is building, which is always a good sign.
So an H1 situation right now, the bottom right of your screen, that's the Bonds Flying Roos. They've won the last 3 events right now.
In zone here.
They found a little bit of pressure, as Lisa pointed out. So 1 hole out of the water, a sizable lead over 2nd place. Paul Goodison driving Mubadala Brazil in 2nd. And then it is Rockwell Denmark with Nikolai Sehested at the wheel.
Rules are rules, Todd, but they're so far. It's a race against time for the Bonds Flying Roos now. Tactically, they've absolutely nailed this. Slingsby, brave call to go back under the fleet, but look at the angle he's sailing up here. So he's got a good shift in the wind. Wind's rotated right. He's nearly sailing straight towards the next gate. Here we go, H1. They press the boat. If they can get foiling pretty quick, they might have a chance, but time is running out.
Race committee, can you please stop moving the top marks?
Aiming at it here.
They're moving them towards you, Slingsby. Don't tell them to do that.
Well, look at the speed picking up on the mast there. They're up 25 kilometers an hour, 26. Here we go.
Bring weight, bring weight.
They've got to get foiling. This must be tight on the time.
30 seconds to go. Here we go.
He's got to get foiling. He's nearly foiling. 100 meters to go. Can they do it? Still not foiling.
Let's go for it.
Slingsby calls it. Oh, there's the finish line. 100 meters.
20 seconds.
Oh,
and the Aussies pop it. Here we go. 10 seconds. They're just going to get there.
He's got a sense of timing. Can he nose over?
3.
Oh!
Nice, guys.
No! Oh, I don't know, to my eye, they didn't quite get there. Tommy boy.
So just sitting next to each other.
Oh, that was so close. Oh, we await confirmation. Our catamarang wasn't super clear on that to my eye, whether they were in or not.
Trying to bear away here.
I don't want to take the
Head
announcer
down.
jinx, but the Emirates winning moment will go the way of the Bonds Flying Roos as it stands right now in these
Can you copy
provisional
us on that?
results. Everyone else now will go back to the
Going
last
down.
gate that they
That's the
passed
end of the
through.
race.
And it looks like it'll be
Gus,
Mubadla
do you
Brazil
reckon
and
Gus
Nikolai
will, or is that
Sehested and Rockwell Denmark,
No.
2 and 3.
Yeah, it all
Rich,
goes
can we
back to the
confirm that's
last
the
gate
end of
that
the
went
race?
around. Exactly right, Todd. So as long as someone makes the finish, I'm just waiting to hit definite confirmation of that because it looked very, very marginal to my eye. If someone did make the finish, then yeah, it'll go back to where the other boats made it round gate 2 at the bottom there. So really, really tight.
Well, the wind finally showed up at the latter part of race number 1 in Group A as Mubadla Brazil will cross the line, as will Rockwell Denmark.
We got an issue with that
And here comes France and the Black Foils back out on the water. So we'll have a quick regroup, and then it'll be Group number B's first race. So the rain has passed through, but with it has gone the wind as well. They started out with some serious promise, Stevie. It looked like pressure off the line. The Bonds Flying Roos hit the line almost perfectly, but halfway to mark number 1, the wind just went away.
Yeah, it's quite humid and sort of dynamic. There's a lot of energy in the sky, ironically. So we've seen these big cloud sails come through 20 minutes before the start, a lot of rain. Wind really built on the front of that, and often once that rain passes through, you do get a big drop. So we've had that drop. Lisa's confidence going to build, but yeah, not great.
We're able to go down on the water now, and the Bonds Flying Roos and their driver, Tom Slingsby. Tom, it was a little bit like the Magical Mystery Tour. You started off with wind, it went away, and then it came back at the end.
Well, the wind just died. The course is really close to the city, so there's not much wind, but yeah, we just got told that we don't get a finish in that race, which is not good, but well, that's where it goes.
First way going, Tom, in this split fleet racing, how do you change your strategy if you do it all, knowing that you have 3 races only against 6 other boats?
No, you don't really change much. It's sail as normal, and yep, just try to get good races in.
Tom, it looks like it's been sort of fairly frustrating racing out there, but you have to make decisions a really, really long way ahead. How painful and nerve-wracking is it on the boat when you've made that decision and you've got maybe a 2-minute wait to see if you're right?
Yeah, it is tough, obviously. I thought we did a really good job that whole race. It's frustrating to finish the race and then got told that it's abandoned and we didn't get a finish, I'll tell you that, because everyone on board and everyone in all the other boats thought the race was still going, and then, yeah, no, it's frustrating.
Tom, we'll let you regroup with the team. We'll see you for your second race of the day. Thanks for your time.
Thanks.
So the frustration for Tom Slingsby and the Bonds Flying Roos, so they're not given the win in that one, Stevie, so everything goes back to the last gate.
No, there's no race.
Absolutely no race, no points, nothing.
You've got to make that where we saw the Bonds Flying Roos coming in. That's called Gate 3. It turned into the finish at that point, but they didn't make it to that in the 9 minutes. Race abandoned.
Okay, so it's completely a wash for Group A in race number 1. The Bonds Flying Roos literally 2 or 3 seconds away from hitting that line, and they come up just short despite a great win. So we're being told that Group A will redo their race as we get ready for Group B as they get out on the water. And remember, Group B, it'll be Emirates GPR, US SailGP team, Artemis, Germany by Deutsche Bank, Red Bull Italy, and Switzerland. Here's the current situation here in Halifax. Race number 1 for Group A has been abandoned, so no points are scored, Stevie.
Yep.
It looks like a redo for them. So the good side of that is extra sailing for Group A.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
More time on the water.
Here in Tom Slingsby, I'm not sure there was an awful lot of good news for Group A in that race there. Maybe for Los Gallos, who finished at the back of it. But yes, if you don't make the 3rd turning gate that was turned into a finish line in that one within 9 minutes, the racing rules say you have to abandon the race. It cannot count. It's deemed to not be a fair race. Obviously, Tom Slingsby, Bonds Flying Rouge won't agree with that, Han. But it's just done. You see on the screen now, great helicopter angle. Top right, you see that dark cloud up there and how it looks kind of grey? That's just a big weather cell, and the weather's really moving around a lot out there, Hannah, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's some really changeable weather, and I think that you can see here the wind's shifted to the right quite a lot, so they might have to reconfigure the course, but hopefully the wind will pick back up soon and we can get some racing.
All right, so Group A will regroup, and they will get their first race as Group B now enters the course. You see them on the top of your screen. Earlier, and we talked about the changes being made on Mubadala Brazil as Paul Goodison has taken over as a driver. The former driver Martini Grail, she moves to the strategist position. Lisa Darmanin was able to talk to the new driver of Mubadala Brazil, Paul Goodison.
All right, well, Goody, first day driving in the fleet yesterday. How was that?
Oh, it was nice to be back in an F50 in the driving spot. I think it's been 3 years since I had to go last, so it was nice to get back out there, and as a team I thought we did a reasonable job yesterday.
And what are the conditions like here in Halifax? Obviously really gusty and challenging.
Oh no, super shifty, super tricky underneath the city, so there's a lot going on. The communication is a huge part of it, and being good as a team is going to be a real key today.
Now, you've done it in practice, but we hear split fleets today. How does that sort of change the way that you might approach a race?
I think the split fleets gives you a little bit more room around the start box, so you're probably likely to come in a bit faster from further back. With 13, 14 boats, it's obviously really congested and hard, so hopefully it opens up the start a little bit to get in a bit faster, but then it's going to be more of a boat speed race around the track.
So Hannah, there is Paul Goodison stepping into a tough situation. Martini Grail now gets the chance basically to be strategist on the back, and good call in your opinion?
I think it's a big call. I think, you know, all of these teams have got to keep learning. If they see this as the best way forwards to improve the team's performance, then great. But I would love to see Martini back on the helm at some point.
All right, we will see if it happens. They said this is all about performance driven. They want to get the results as they are currently sitting second to last on the overall table, just on 8 points in 12th place. So the situation is this. We've had one race for Group A. It was abandoned because of time, so Group B is out there stretching their proverbial legs, but Group A will race again to see if we can get them in under that time limit of 9 minutes. They came up just 3 seconds short of the Bonds Flying Rouge getting a victory, so Stevie all over again, and they will get themselves into position in the start box before we go racing. Let's check it on the water with Lisa Darmanin. Lisa, tell us what we know or what you know, and will there be more pressure to get a completed race?
Yeah, well, I think everyone's Group B came out to start their race, but then obviously was abandoned, so they're just getting put back in their pit lane, and then Group A is going to be setting up to redo race number 1. The other thing to look out for is obviously that rain cloud to pass through. Another one's coming through at the moment, so you know it's just really challenging out here. People are going to have to be super adaptable. Every 5 minutes it's changing. It's also rotated a lot more around to the right, so the course will just be a little bit of a different angle. But lucky the marks are robotic, so it's easy to do that.
Lisa, before we let you go, are the teams enjoying or are they embracing this split fleet racing? And you talk about being adaptable. Are you sensing a little more tension, a little more stress among the teams?
Yeah, it's sort of mixed reviews around the tech site. Some of them want all 13 boats on the racetrack. Obviously, we were expecting much more when the decision was made, but you know, ultimately in the end they set up the same. They've got to be able to win the race or get in the top 2. I think the interesting thing will be obviously with the split fleets having the top 2 advance from each fleet. I think that changes the dynamic a little bit and how you might approach the Sunday. So you know, in the end their processes are the same, but the dynamic is definitely different out here.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Lisa. We're trying to get that from Tom Slingsby. He didn't want any part of it, Stevie. He was ready to go race it again. Not happy with the decision by the race committee, but they get back out there, they get in the start box, they do it all over again, and Hannah, at this point, it looks like they're racing against that dark cloud in the distance, wanting to get this race in before that hits.
Yeah, that's right, and especially I think that will be the case because we've just heard that this next race is going to be just 4 people on board, so we've seen 4 people racing quite a lot, but with this rule change to 2 people having to be tethered behind the wheel, it'll be really interesting to see how the crews configure themselves.
All right, and there is the home team as North Star Canada. Earlier, Lisa Darmanin catching up with one of their crew members, Tom Ramshaw.
Seeing so many Canadians get so into the sport and into the team has been such a blessing and gives us a lot of motivation and inspiration.
And how did practice racing go for you guys yesterday?
Yeah, it was tough. We had ups and downs. We had some pretty good starts, and then track was super puffy and we didn't get some of them right, but we felt pretty good as a team, so we're pretty excited going into today.
And with the forecast today, it's going to be extremely gusty, extremely challenging. What makes it so hard when the wind is so variable?
Just, I mean, you're either in a lull, not foiling, or you're flying, going top speed in a puff. So making sure you can connect those puffs is going to be the key to today. And yeah, we're going to do a good briefing and figure out how we can maximize that.
And how was the wakeboarding session yesterday?
Yeah, that was super cool. Just, I mean, I was a bit jealous. I kind of wanted to be on the foil behind, but it looked scary anyway. And it went really well. Matt was super stoked, and I don't think he knew quite what he was getting himself into behind an F50, but yeah, he got up in the pretty high speeds and looked fun.
And we hear we're probably going split fleet format today. How does that sort of change the game? But you guys have done lots of practice racing that way too, I imagine.
Yeah, it does change a bit. There's less congestion, so it's probably more of a speed game, and yeah, those a little more passing lanes. So it'll still be the same type of racing, but it'll be a little more open, and I'm sure it's a bit safer. So that's exciting for us on board.
All right, so we've got a new course configuration, Stevie, as you see the dark clouds making their way over here. What does that do to the teams as now they have to prepare for a completely different course?
Yeah, well, look, as Lisa suggested, the marks are robotic. There you go. Top or middle left-hand side of the screen, there's a little yellow mark that's sort of motoring along merrily up at the course. These blue arrows on our screen, they're the indication of where the wind's coming from. They're coming pretty much straight down the screen right now. We need to have the course lined up so that the legs are faced into the wind and down the wind. That's where the boats have to sail at an angle to the wind, and it opens up the course tactically. If they were just sailing across the wind, it becomes a bit follow my leader, which is great if you're winning, Hannah, but a little bit boring if you're behind.
Yeah, it just really closes off those overtaking lanes, puts even more pressure on the start as we get our first look at some of these teams lining up for this start of race one with just 4 people on board, and it does look like the wind's piped back up a little bit.
Yeah, definite build. You see that big cloud to the right-hand side of the screen? It's going to be a bit like that today. The crews have got to have the time to get their head out the boat. Boats in the background there, Group B, they're away in the pit lane. It's a tight start box, and there's still some big light wind patches here in this, Todd. So it's going to be tricky to judge your timing back. Left-hand side of the screen, look at that dark cloud there. There will be more wind coming when it comes. Well, that's what they're paid the big bucks to work out.
I quite like the load in. I think we're quite early to it.
So coming up on 90 seconds to go for the re-race for Group A, race number 1, scheduled for 3 aces today. We'll see if we get all those in. They are shortening the course a bit, so under 90 seconds to get into the start box, get yourself in the right position. So with these conditions, Hannah Diamond, where do you want to be?
I think it's a really good call. I think we saw from the first kind of attempted start, the Bonds Flying Roos did really well at the bottom of the line. With the wind being further rotated to the right, I think that's going to be even more the case. So all the teams lining up quite low to the bottom of the start box at the moment, and it'll be all about who can poke their nose out in front and find that best angle to mark 1.
Okay, so 1 minute to go before the restart of race number 1 for group number A, split fleet racing here in Halifax. A lot of congestion, they're trying to reduce that. And here is the situation. You've got to get the win in at least, Stevie, I got to think one of these races of 3 today to get yourself a good shot on Super Sunday.
Yeah, and I expect we're already down to potentially 2 for each. I mean, you just got to love Mother Nature. Look, the wind's rotating as that cloud goes past there, so the crews are having to adapt. Black foils, bottom of the screen, they're lined up with our sort of favoured position to be on the line. The Rolex pole predictor sat on the top of Mubadala, Brazil. France make a last-minute dive underneath the black foils. They're all very tight back to the line here. Bonds Roos look crazy early into the line. They're all going to get super slow. Mubadala, Brazil might have nowhere to go. Got to slow up early there on board the Brazilian boat and hope for a gap late. 10 seconds to go. Rockwell still early. Can North Star find a gap? I don't see it right now. They've got to have eyes out for the French. 5 seconds to go. It's going to be a blanket start. Oh, perfect by the black foils. I think they kept their nose back. Now it's a race to the foils. There should be more wind to the top of the line. Less distance down the line. Black foils look fast at the gun. Burling's back with a bullet.
Keep going until we're negative. Jib's good. No.
See here, we're low on numbers in the crew here, and everyone's having to multitask. Interesting here, the black foils. That looks like they got Leo Takahashi right at the back of the boat. Liv McCarthy trying to work out the crew, and Bonds Flying Roos. Look at the pace on the Australian. Slingsby threaded the needle, double speed.
Feel like keeping it, eh? What do you reckon? Might be close here.
30 kilometres an hour, Todd. That's the magic number if you want to get on the foils. Once Flying Roos are close.
Slingsby possibly driving that boat a little angry after coming so close to winning race number 1. It was abandoned, so the results do not count as they approach mark number 1. Once again, it's deja vu all over again. The Bonds Flying Roos will have the mark.
Okay, I think we're clear here.
Rolling down, are we clear?
To me, like the Bonds Flying Roos are clear ahead. They own the mark here.
I'm just going. Stop.
Go the Rolex sprint leader, Australia, chooses to turn left straight away again. Looks like Black Foils are thinking about following. Clearly more wind on that side of the course. They both choose to rotate. What does Oscaios do? Heading down to that gate, top right-hand corner of our screen. That's where they're all headed. You can see at the moment, not much wind. Los Gallos, I kind of like the fact, oh no, they choose to move away as well. They're obviously seeing more wind to the left-hand side of our screen.
And Hannah, if you're some of the teams like Los Gallos, you're loving this restart because they were at the very back of the pack. They were looking at 0 points for the first race.
Yeah, that's right, but I think, you know, it's all in for this race, and I think that manoeuvre early around Mark 1 makes sense. Just if you look at the lay of the land, the wind is coming more kind of into the harbour from here, so it would make sense that it would pick up in the middle first, where all of those teams are heading at the moment.
It's so painful when you get stuck at the back here, Todd. We can see Rockwood, just you get in a traffic jam, you've got no rights, you happen to make decisions based off what other people do. Slingsby's making his own decisions, but I've got to say, I have no idea how the Bonds Flying Roos got to that mark first off that start. They were slow, they were stuck up, and the acceleration they got. Ian Jensen, magician.
So early to the line, they had to basically kill 18 seconds before the line went wide. It looked like it was going to belong to the Black Foils of New Zealand. And there is Tom Slingsby once again out in front, going H1, flying a hole. Not enough pressure to fly them both at this point. So it is showing on the table. It's Australia, the Bonds Flying Roos out in front. Spain in second, with the Black Foils of New Zealand now sitting in second, overtaking Los Gallos Spain.
Are they matching?
Yeah, I mean, right now it looks like that when they do this next manoeuvre, that's when they should start making some real progress towards the next gate. This has almost been a bit of a setup leg, sailing kind of parallel across the course.
Oh, good.
Until Slingsby's making good decisions, because Burling's literally like he's tied on a bit of string following him behind on the Black Foils there. Normally a pretty good sign that you're making good calls, but it's an opportunity to attack here for Los Gallos. Don't be surprised to see them come a little wider. No, they're going to follow as well.
France's got some speed.
They've all got some speed, but they're just lining up in a straight line. Had the Spanish come further, they could end up in the disturbed wind from the other boats. And foiling in the background, right-hand side there, Rockwool, Denmark, but they're going to come into that traffic jam ahead. Can they stay on the foils here?
A big moment for the Danes right now.
Oh, they're getting a bit low at the back. Oh, they just overrode the small foil at the back. They overrode that, didn't get fast enough. Fell off the foils, but they've made a big gain. They've still got more speed than the other boats. We're on board Rockwool here. Tom Johnson, Nikolai Serhested. Sometimes when you get that far behind Hannah, it suddenly turns into an opportunity because you're so far out of phase.
Yeah, that's right, and I think you can also pick your way around the course a little bit better. I think they've done a nice job there. I think there probably wasn't enough wind, regardless of how well they executed that manoeuvre, to stay up on the foils, but it'll be interesting to see what they do here because they're on the outside of the fleet for that left turn. And I think with these gate marks, they look like they're quite far apart, so I think we'll probably see most of these teams going around the same mark.
All right, Stevie, what's your confidence level as they approach Gate 2, the DP World Gate, that they're going to be able to finish this in 9 minutes?
Getting it now.
Well, Todd, that's some question, mate, that is. I don't know. What I'm a bit surprised at is that Slingsby's turning right. It looks like more distance he's going to sail here, and the fact that this bottom right-hand corner of screen's had more wind. Now, he can see more than me. I can only see what you can see on the screen here, but what I can see is it's less distance for the Black Foils to sail, and less distance seems a pretty guaranteed thing. One person that might be able to see, Lisa Darmanin. Left or right, Lisa?
Well, I think what's happened is that the breeze did that big rotation right, and then as it settles in, it's going to go back to the left. So I don't mind the decision that the Bonds Flying Roos have made. I think that continuing that momentum, being able to pop a hull around that, and there's a little bit of wind funneling along that shore. So I think he might have made the right call, Stevie.
Ooh, at 5 minutes. So he's got 4 minutes to get up to the course, as they will finish once again at the windward gate. If you were with us just a few moments ago, Australia was in front and 3 seconds short of finishing the race, so abandoned. those results were scrapped, and here we are again. So it's the Bondsflying Ruse out in front again, and here we go, Stevie, at 30. They're getting close. Spain hits 32.
Yeah, the Aussies have been foiling all the way to that boundary, Todd. Lisa said it right. There was more wind that way. They're off the foils now. Black foils took an age to get back and going, sailing through the disturbed wind from the other boats. We'll come back to who can get on the foils first after this manoeuvre, I would say. Aussies are building speed. Black foils are sailing less distance, but they're going slower for it. It's all about whether the Bondsflying Ruse can get on the foils.
Nice breeze this way, I think. That's just...
And what a story that would be. What a welcome back for the Black Foils newly purchased squad in SailGP, out of the competition for nearly 4 months after the big collision event 2 in Auckland. And here they are. No rust on them, Hammer Diamond.
No, that's right. I think they're always going to come back reasonably strong, especially in these conditions. But at the moment, it's all about what do they do at this boundary. They're probably going to maneuver and head behind the Bondsflying Ruse and potentially Spain as well. But it's all about a race to the top gate here, because that's where this race will be finishing.
Close to the finish here, Todd. You can see the Bondsflying Ruse, they've got it done. They got foiling, they've sailed the boat. They look really, really fast here, the Australian team. They're going to manoeuvre. Should be a fairly straightforward one. Right of way, the interesting race for me now is Spain, middle of our screen. Bottom of our screen, the Black Foils. Finish line coming, 50 metres away. Bondsflying Ruse are going to get it done. Foiling on board the Spanish boat. They need one more good manoeuvre to hold off the Black Foils.
Time will not be an issue this go-around, as race number 1 officially goes the way of the Bondsflying Ruse here in Halifax, and Los Gallos spins it in right behind the Australians, and Spain will pick up second.
Spanish gain 2 on the Kiwis.
Turning here.
Spain did a big gain there, so Lisa's got it. She did say that right turn at the bottom was good. We got more breeze filling in here. We see the Black Foils, well, they were foiling in behind Los Gallos. So really the big winner in that cancelled race, no cancelled race, is the Spanish. They were way out the back, as we see the Brazilians, Paul Goodison driving. He hasn't got the right of way. He's got to be careful when he gets towards that mark. He will have room. He is entitled to squeeze in between the mark and the finish here. He does have the right of way. France must give him room, but it's going to be a dive to the finish.
And at the line, it will be Mubadala, Brazil, just ahead of France and Canada.
What a tight finish there, and North Star, oh, they didn't quite get it done. They've got ahead of Rockwell. Rockwell nearly got back in the race, but as we said, they're on the outside at the bottom gate there. Good fast race from the Bondsflying Ruse.
So the Bondsflying Ruse repeat what they did in an abandoned race 1 and get the victory. Spain holds on for second place, with the Black Foils of New Zealand getting third. Mubadala, Brazil, with Paul Goodison at the wheel, finish in 4th place, with DS Team France in 5th. North Star Canada, the home team, finished in 6th place, with Rockwell, Denmark, missing out on points as they finish in 7th.
See there, Rockwell just getting a bit of practice in, a little bit loose through that. Again, still slightly the wrong configuration of foils for the breeze we've got here. They'd probably like the bigger foils, so they've got to drive the boat a lot faster into every manoeuvre. They've got to really have big, big speed builds if they can hope to stay foiling.
And plenty of wind now as they head to pit row, and we get ready for Group B's first race.
And if we take a look back at the start here, it was the Bondsflying Ruse who were really early, having to scrub off all of their speed by sailing up the line. And then it was going to be a question of whether they could rebuild that speed on time before the line turned white. And it looked like it was a really difficult task for them from there. At the opposite end of the line, we had the Black Foils, who absolutely nailed their time on distance. And it looked at this point as though they were going to definitely take the lead at Mark 1, because we thought that bottom end of the line was really nice and biased, didn't we, Stevie?
Well, yeah, we did, but a little bit more wind filled in, and well, you don't bet against the Australians at the moment. They seem to have a magic speed button, and I just kind of love it in this light winds, how big decisions you've got to make. You can seem like you're sort of right in the match, or you can seem like you're way out the back, but it's big, brave calls.
Yeah, and I thought all of the boats were going to follow around the same mark, but I was definitely incorrect there, as some new pressure just rolled in off that city shoreline, and the Bondsflying Ruse split from the Black Foils at this mark. It looked for a second as though it was going to be quite close, and actually the Black Foils found quite a light patch of wind, so staying H2 and then only making H1 on that right-hand boundary, while the Bondsflying Ruse were up and foiling for most of this leg to the finish, taking the Emirates winning moment.
Yeah, it's a great race for the Australians. They did get it done, and well, what did we learn in that race? You've got to have your head out of the boat, and you've got to be dynamic on the race course, that's for sure. The Emirates fly time, well, that went to Rockwell, Denmark, 19.3%.
So we can crunch some numbers after the first race was abandoned, Hannah, and it looks like this. Once again, the Bondsflying Ruse making quick work of that race.
Yeah, and we quite often look at flight time, don't we, as being looking for the highest number. But Rockpool Racing got up and foiling, one of the first boats to do that, but they weren't able to convert. As always, average speed is a super important metric to look at. So just Bond's Flying Ruse, sailing the boat really nicely, keeping the average speed nice and high. Not necessarily leading them across the leaderboard, across the rest of these statistics, but taking the win in that race.
And you see Rockwell, Denmark, as Stevie pointed out, the Emirates fly time having the highest, and they finished in dead last. So they'll have to clean that up for the scheduled 2 races still to come for Group A, as we now turn our attention to Group B as they get ready. And the fans, the hardy fans here in Halifax, are just 250 away from seeing Group B do battle here in Halifax for their first race of 3. 2:45 on the clock to go as we take a look at the participants in Group number B. It will be Emirates GBR, the champions of last year, US SailGP team, DS Team France, and the rest of the squad filling in as we see Germany by Deutsche Bank, Red Bull Italy, Switzerland, and Artemis. All right, so 2:15 to go as the teams now get in there. The Group B had to wait a little bit longer as they did re-race for Group number A, but now they are set to go here in Halifax. Two minutes to go now for Group number B, and this will be a little easier, Stevie, not because the talent's not there, but there's one less boat.
One less boat, that's true, and they've had a little chance to look at the race course. I mean, it was interesting in that little break we saw in the lounge on shore there, a few nice-looking cans of Windshift. SailGP Windshift Lager looked quite nice to me, and there's certainly some Windshifts out there on the water right now. They would have had a little bit more time to look at it. US team, what can they do? Disastrous last race in New York, but they're back out here racing.
There is the US SailGP team, currently sitting 3rd place overall in 36 points, looking for a big result this weekend. So it's just 6 boats on the water. You've got the Italians, the Swedish, the British, the Swiss, the Germans, and the Americans.
It looks like 5 on the boat here as well, Todd, so there's a little bit more breeze. Got an extra person on able to grind the wing there. There has been a change after the crash we had in New York. They've made sure 2 of the athletes must be back behind the steering wheel to increase the visibility on the boat.
So all the teams late to get into that start box. So the importance of picking a good position right now, Hannah, is going to be huge.
Yeah, that's right, and especially with the wind just clocking up over 20 kilometers an hour, that's quite significantly more than we had in the first race today, and with just 4 people on board, it's going to be really tricky to sail the boat.
Yeah, and it was from the west, wasn't it? And it's nearly from the north now, so it's pretty full-on changing conditions as we see here. Explorer Swiss, they manoeuvre back. They are a team that will be looking for a good result here this weekend. Artemis been struggling with their starting, but can Outridge master this smaller fleet format? He's got a bit more space. They've had the most overtakes this season, but he needs to try and get his elbows out at Mark 1 if he can. Rolex pole predictor sits on Germany Deutsche Bank. Plenty of space on this line. Explorer Spirit's coming in fast. Might get themselves a bit early back to the line. They've certainly going to be able to slow up Artemis. Canfield, the starting master.
Here we go with the Americans.
He's foiling with 4 seconds to go. Here come the US team in the middle of the line. All the boats are late, but brilliant from the US. They should be able to drive over the top with a faster angle towards Mark 1.
Trying to press over these guys now, or threaten because of that.
So here comes Taylor Canfield and the US SailGP team, winners in Sydney, trying to get their 2nd event victory of the season. Can they get it done here in Halifax? What a great start.
Yeah, they're struggling here. They've got to try and get down towards the circle at Mark 1. The wind is rotated so far round. They're nearly sailing a downwind angle here. Big rotation. It'll be interesting to see where they sail. They have got down to the mark. Total tactical control for Canfield. He's going to look to stretch out. Can any of the teams nail a foiling manoeuvre? Is it windy enough? Is going to be absolutely crucial. There goes the Explorer Swiss team. They manoeuvre away. Germany Deutsche Bank will follow, as do the US.
Rolex Sprint leaders. Stars and Stripes, US SailGP, they get mark number 1. They get the whole shot. They are being followed closely by Emirates GBR and Germany by Deutsche Bank.
Got to say, Hannah, that's pretty impressive. Anna Weiss has been grinder. I feel like this change in configuration almost hurts them the most, but she's straight on the wheel there. Perfect jibe.
Yeah, that's right, and it kind of shows she is a really good all-round sailor, but this definitely impacts them the most out of all of the crews with this configuration change.
Germany own the mark here. Emirates GBR have got to be sure they're ahead. I think he was clear there, Dylan Fletcher, and there could be a split there. I like where the British and the US are going. Looks like space, but for Artemis and Italy, well, they're way out the back early on.
You can see just as the wind's picked up here how much the fleet just stretches out. So all important on the start here. The teams at the back are going to have to work really hard to catch up.
And stand by.
There we go. We've got Mac Agnese on the grinding handles there, spinning the handles. There goes Mike Manager, sets up for the manoeuvre. He's going to grab the wing sheet. Right-hand side of screen, Anna Weiss. Well, she's normally grinding, but she's going to take the wheel when Canfield's happy they've turned. There they go. Change your roll.
Turning if he calls angle, okay? What do you think on the build here? Going advance?
It's a bit lighter again, Todd.
Yep. They've sailed into a pocket. Only the Germans and the Italians right now are over that 30-kilometer-an-hour threshold, and now Red Bull Italy drops below. So the Americans right at that point of 30, being able to pop up onto the foils with Emirates GBR and Dylan Fletcher right behind them.
Yeah, so the interesting thing with when you've got these smaller foils here, as we see the Rolex chasing time, 8 seconds back there, they're not really closing at the moment. Once you've got smaller foils, once you get on the foils, you go faster. But it's harder to take off with a smaller foil, and when you're actually hoping to do a manoeuvre, you've got to have way more speed. You've got to be over 46, 47 at least. So the Explorer Swiss are right on the limit of potentially doing a foiling turn on the next manoeuvre.
Let's are going for a foil here, I think.
They did manage to foil all the way from that left-hand boundary, so let's see here if they can stay up on the foils.
I think so. Do you want to try to foil to the left turn and drive?
Interesting when we come back to a wide, we can see the US, they're lined up massive grandstand in the background there. US team come in. The Swiss are showing as third. I think they must have done a good manoeuvre there. They're still foiling. The Swiss must have nailed the foiling tack there, turning the boat through the wind over 46 kilometers an hour in. That's such a key thing for me today. I think if you get the speed, be aggressive, keep the speed, try and nail those foiling manoeuvres.
2, 1, board. And turning. Nice pressure building on the nose.
Go splitting the course here. Explorer Swiss are just loving it. They're throwing the boat around. Another foiling tack there on board.
Okay, mountain. Nice white.
Well, they just about managed to keep on the foils there. It'll be interesting to see afterwards how much distance they've sailed compared to some of the other teams, because they're bouncing left and right, but they're doing a really nice job of staying up on the foils, as they definitely go past the US SailGP team who have parked up after that mark.
Yeah, and Artemis are taking the right turn as well. It's clearly more wind to the bottom of our screen. Lisa, are you seeing more wind where the Swiss are? Because it certainly looks like it from this angle.
Yeah, it's quite patchy. Obviously, they managed to stick the foiling manoeuvre on the other side near the grandstand, and now they're going on the opposite side. So I actually just think they're really in sync with these conditions. Looks like they're whipping the boat around really nicely in the manoeuvres, but yeah, obviously super punishing for USA there. So patchy around the course. I think you've really got to go with what you see at the mark at the time.
It is Explorer Switzerland right now out in front. Sebastian Schneider, a 3-time Olympian, 12 national titles at the wheel. They've got themselves a huge lead as they sail into some great pressure on the course. Second place belongs to Nathan Outridge and Artemis. Third belongs to Emirates GBR and Dylan Fletcher.
Yeah, I mean, Nathan doesn't need a second chance, does he? If he sees an opportunity, and it was laid out pretty plain to him by the Swiss that there was more wind there, and they just made that aggressive move, split away. It's turned into 200-300 meters. The interesting thing with the light winds, Todd, is actually once you have 2 or 3 kilometers an hour more wind, percentage-wise, it's a massive increase in potential horsepower. So a little change in the wind in this light conditions, as we see bottom here, go up into the Oracle cloud, you see that foiling percentage well. That's why the Swiss are looking pretty good here. It's not all about foiling, it's an indication that they've kept the boat speed high around the course.
Nathan Outridge talking with Chris Draper on board with him. They've sailed together quite a bit. Second place now belongs to Artemis. Explorer Switzerland makes the move around gate number 4, the DP World Gate. They'll make their way back up. But there you see how the fleet has spread out. Remember, this is Group B, just 6 boats compared to 7 in Group A.
Yeah, a little bit more space, but a little bit more breeze as well here. Right. You see, and I think what we're seeing is there is that slight pattern. The wind is moving around. You've got to have your head out of the boat, but once you get the opportunity to have some speed, you've got to maximise that. And I think as well, just 5 people on the boat, Hannah, just makes managing the boat a lot more possible.
Yeah, it does. It's that extra set of hands does make a huge amount of difference. You're only missing one kind of set of horsepower from the front, and in these conditions, the wing trimming can a lot of that can be done from the twist control, not just on winding the wing sheet.
Explorer Swiss, you see, Todd. You see that blue line on the screen there? That's taking us up to 1 mark. The Swiss are going to go there, left turn and into the finish. So looking really good for the Swiss now. Leg 5 or 6, just a couple of minutes away from the finish. And if they can get foiling fairly soon, well, they're going to bring it home. Germany, Deutsche Bank, good position. And look, it's just challenging. US commanding lead, and they're all the way back to 6th. Though I think they'll be 4th come the bottom gate, but it just shows how hard it is.
One of those days where actually sometimes being in the lead isn't that helpful because you've got to pick the way and then everyone else can see whether it's paying off for you or not.
USA looking like they're going from 5th into 4th place, so they will pick up some points in this group of 6. Group number B, as they come to the mark, it will be Explore Switzerland that makes the left-hand turn, and they will head towards the finish line and pick up the maximum points for the win in Group B, with 2 more races scheduled for each of our groups, weather permitting. But a big victory, and what a way to start out for this Event 7, the Canada Sail Grand Prix here in Halifax, for Sebastian Schneider as Explorer Switzerland comes to the line, and they will claim the win in race number 1 for Group B.
Yeah, I mean, they nailed that. You know, some people might say they got lucky. They didn't. They just had the speed. They executed a phenomenal manoeuvre. And yeah, Seb Schneider got it done.
So now the battle to see who will take 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And it looks like Nathan Outeridge and Artemis are going to be in the perfect position as it will bring it home. As you see the win markers on your screen coming across, not quite as gusty as we saw earlier, Stevie, but there you see the course direction, the way they're going and how strong they are. The stronger the wind, the wider those stripes will get, as Nathan Outeridge spins it around that last mark, and he is just 200 meters away from the finish.
Yeah, I mean, done a good job. It's an interesting one with Artemis. If I look at their stats for the season, downwind, they've overtaken 48 boats over the season. That's before this race, where they've definitely overtaken a few more. But he's not getting off the start line, so they still really got to work at that. I mean, brilliant sailing by the team there, sailed fast and smooth.
So Artemis finishes in 2nd place, and it looks like Germany by Deutsche Bank will hold on for 3rd, as the race will terminate in 40 seconds. So it's race to the line. I don't know if the US SailGP team's going to get there in time.
Well, they'll just go back to the bottom gate. So they'll go back to their position round that, which I think was 5th, if I'm right. I think they were 5th round there, so they'll take that result. But yeah, I mean, what's interesting is we talk about the start normally being so massive.
Yeah.
In this race, the first two boats at Mark 1 are actually sitting in 5th and 6th right now. So it's a really changeable conditions. You've got to have your head out. You've got to roll with the punches when you get them. But if you get the speed, if you get the boat foiling, drive it hard. Make sure you build speed before your next manoeuvre.
It really was a tale of 2 halves in this race, because the US and Emirates GBR looked so good in the first half, and here we are finding them as the race terminates at the very back. So the race has now been terminated for Group B.
Down and 2.
Red Bull Italy will spin it across. They will bring it to the line, but for Emirates GBR and the US SailGP team, it's going to be an opportunity missed there for them.
But yeah, as I say, all the teams will score points. They'll go back, even Italy, they'll go back to that gate they just went round at the bottom there, which was gate 4. They'll see where they were coming at gate 4, so I think for Italy it was 4th place. We'll obviously get full confirmation of that once Craig Mitchell and his team officiate the results. But yeah, points for everyone. Brilliant race for the Swiss.
What a day here in Halifax. For only the 2nd time the league has come to Canada and the fans have turned out. It is day 1 of the Canada Sail Grand Prix here in Halifax, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship.
And if we take a look back at the start of race 1 for Group B, it was the US SailGP team who got up and foiling first, which allowed them to lead across the start line. There were a couple of other boats who just managed to pop up onto the foil, which made it all for a race to that all-important Mark 1.
Yeah, I mean, it was perfect by the US. I mean, Canfield's been brilliant, right-hand side of the screen, Artemis out the back there, but it was very much a game of 2 halves, this one. It came down to executing good manoeuvres. The US did execute a brilliant start, sailed a fantastic first downwind and showed the advantage of being in front by making that first decision. But as you said, later on in the race, Hannah, suddenly the US team were left with a really, really big decision at gate 3. Chose to sort of minimise manoeuvres, but turned out maybe that wasn't the trick today.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's pretty difficult because it depends when you arrive at that boundary, when you've got to do that maneuver, is there any pressure there? So I think they're a little bit unlucky, but it's going to be a bit of a game of that today, and the Swiss definitely managed to capitalise on that, taking that right turn and staying on the foil all the way around the course.
Yeah, that's right, and Artemis as well. They sort of saw the window open, they saw the US fall on the foils, and now Trish just said, I'm getting out of here, and he popped it round and he chased down after the Swiss. But yeah, brilliant for Seb Snyder. They really need a big race here, and I think they've sailed that superbly. Confidence will be high.
So maximum points to explore Swiss. They also claim the Emirates fly time, going 85.9% in the first race for Group B.
And if we take a look at the statistics from Group B there, again, it was the average speed which was the winner for that race, so you've got to keep that average speed high. Flight time did go to the winning boat this time round, so they were just able to foil all the way around the course, minimising their manoeuvres, but sailing a little bit more distance than some of the other teams. Artemis did a really nice job there, sailing a shorter distance to take second.
Waves crash underneath, sound like thunder speaking. Flying carbon machines, driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, powered by nature. We are SailGP.
The province of Nova Scotia has an impressive 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, 16 National Historic Sites, and 3 national parks. It's a nature and action sports paradise with over 13,000 kilometers of epic coastline. Visitors can enjoy coastal gastronomy along seafood-centric culinary trails while relaxing in breathtaking scenery. Nova Scotia is Canada's ocean playground. And we're ready for Group A to have their second race as we go 1 minute, as the klaxon will sound at 1 minute and they get themselves into position. And Hannah, once again, it looks like the breeze is going to be a little bit less for Group A, so they're going to find themselves in challenging conditions to time it just right to get to that line when it goes white.
Yeah, it definitely looks quite light at the moment, and so lining up for the start is going to be super important. If anyone can get up on the foil, that's going to be a huge advantage.
40,
Positioning pretty crucial. France looked late to my eye, right-hand side of screen there. North Star as well, but again, Brazil and Rottwell, Denmark are pretty early. They're in a little bit of a private tussle, trying to muscle their way back, keep control at the front of the thing. I like where the Bonds Flying Roos and Black Foils are at the moment. Nicely positioned. Looks like reasonable breeze coming down the course. It's perhaps rotated a little bit back to the left. Should suit the middle of the line as an optimum place to start. The wind there suggests the top of the line, but I think it'll be hard to execute that accurately. 14 seconds to go. Mubadala Brazil, Rolex Pole Predictor sits on them. DS Automobile France at the top of the line are fast. Will he get a gap? Will he get it foiling? Bonds Flying Roos winded up. 5 seconds to go. There's only going to be 3 boats on time. Oh, Mubadala Brazil, brilliant out the middle of the line. Bonds Flying Roos and Black Foils there and well positioned as well. But can Rockwell build the speed at the top and roll over the top? It's again a race to the foils, but the wind is lighter. Fast on board Denmark, 30 kilometres an hour on the top of the wing. They should foil. Sehersted's got a chance. Oh, they've fallen back off. They maybe tried to force it.
Nice. You've got to be building that speed, but also sailing into more pressure, so it might just be that it's getting a little bit lighter up there.
No, I've got depth too, Bobby.
I think what I'm seeing as well, these smaller foils, it's more than 30. I'm so used to that 30, but that's bigger foils. They're probably looking at 32. If you try and take off too soon, you kind of then end up stalling the foils and it has a big crash down. Patience is key on a day like today. Patience, Steve.
So as they get to the circle and mark number 1, it looks like the whole shot's going to belong to the team that needs it the most. Rockwell Denmark, who finished last in race number 1, they will get the mark and they will lead these 7 boats here for Group A into race number 2.
You see that wind really has rotated to the left because the Bonds Flying Roos struggling to get there. And top of the line for Rockwell Denmark. Well, they've done a great job. Sehersted really needs this race. Really, really needs it, and it's a good performance to Mark 1. You see the Bonds Flying Roos and New Zealand, they've been caught out by that wind rotating left. Really punished, didn't see it coming, and well, how does Slingsby slip back through the fleet from here?
So they do have an advantage, Hannah. They get 1 more crew member on board. Remember the last race number 1 for them, it was 4. Now they're up to 5.
Yeah, that's right. And I think when you're up and foiling, that definitely helps, but I think it's less of an advantage when we're in these H2 conditions. But hopefully wind will pick up enough for them to get foiling, but at the moment it looks like a race of H2 sailing, so both hulls in the water sailing as far down the course as you can.
Yeah, Yeah, big decision here as well. Interesting, the Bonds Flying Rouge and the Black Foils have split. Black Foils are going to come back to more wind, so they're short-term positioned well. Slingsby's playing a bit of a longer-term gain. I think he's going to go all the way to the boundary, try and make gate 2 in one manoeuvre. Black Foils are going to be more complex, but if the wind's good, that's what Liv Mackay says. She likes the pressure this way. More wind, more speed.
Let's check down on the water with Lisa. Lisa, is there more wind coming for this Group A because they've been sailing in such light breeze? And how confident are you that they can finish this race in 9 minutes?
Oh, there's not a lot of confidence out here, Todd. Everything's changing so fast. It's really hard to predict. So I'm sure that the sailors are having a tough time too. Looking around the course, you know, North Stars, they did the early manoeuvre. They've got a hull out of the water, which indicates that they are in more pressure. So the home team might have a little bit of magic here, but yeah, very hard to call.
Wow, look at this, Stevie. Look at the angle. They aren't even going towards the gate right now. They're just trying to find pressure. There you see right there the light blue lines coming across. Really just thin, not a lot of pressure there. You see the speeds on the mast under 20 kilometers an hour. There you see Mubadala Brazil just hitting 20. But as you pointed out, with these rudders, this configuration, they're going to need to be closer to 32 before they can foil.
Yeah, I think so. And interesting, you can see Canada, you can't see the camera angle now, but they really wound the wing on to try and generate as much power in that wing, a bit like an aeroplane coming into land. You really make it round and fat. But the problem you have with that, if you do it too much, you stall all the flow around it. Slingsby, Ian Jensen, the wing trimmer on that, he's really got it set up for light winds. He's got the whole thing eased. He's just saying, okay, there's not a lot of wind. We're going to be patient. We're going to play the long term. And actually, we talked about Australia making the move at Mark 1 for the long term gain. At the moment, they're sat in second. Brilliant, brilliant comeback by there. But I think a lot of that accurate wing trimming, and they're just being really patient, letting that what wind there is gently flow around the wing.
One more pump on starboard, Magpie.
See the situation with the wind as the skyline of the shoreline of those big buildings really blocking any breeze to coming through there. So there's really a narrow channel for them, Hannah. And so far it has been Group B that's got the better breeze, although they did have their problems. Just ask US SailGP team because they sailed into a pocket of no breeze. But right now Denmark out in front, a team that finished in last place in the first race. This would be huge if they could get the win.
Yeah, and I think they've got a big call here because there's 3 boats there who potentially they're further to the right of them as we look down the course. So they're going to split away here. It's all going to be down to who gets the best pressure out of this gate mark.
Yeah, it's tricky. There's traffic jam coming up here, Tom, because those boats in front, the Spanish are going to just dip down in front. They own the mark, but they will be slow. Black Foils are coming in nearly twice the speed, but they've got no right of way. They're going to have to follow. And well, a very hard decision here for the Bonds Flying Rouge. Slingsby's done a good job. Slow the boat up. Sometimes you've got to go slow to then line yourself up for a tight exit. You've got to be following as tight as you can. Otherwise, if you'd been wide on the outside, you'd have a lot less wind.
Well, home team is in 7th place right now, so they're in a position not to get any points in race number 2. Rockwell, Denmark taking the tough side. Less traffic, Stevie, but less breeze as well. Mubadala Brazil has followed them, as the other boats have decided to go for that other side, hoping that they're going to find some breeze closer to shore.
Yeah, look at that. We're on board the French right now. We're right at the back of the French boat here. Manon, oh, so good seeing Manon back after that injury she suffered in Auckland, and just a real expert strategist. So brings that level of calm to the boat here there. You can see her pulling on her safety line, trying to get her weight as far forward as possible in the boat, help balance out the load on the foil. She now going to grab the wing sheet. She'll take the wheel as well. Bit of multitasking out of this manoeuvre. Trying to stay foiled. Feet down, taps a button, that lifts the foil that's going to be in front of Tim Lepau there at the front, and they pump it down again. Cheeky, they're only allowed a few of those. They're using that as a little extra propulsion out of the manoeuvre, and well, they've done a good job. 2 kilometers an hour faster than the Spanish, gain to the French.
I think it's really, to your point earlier, Stevie, where the decisions you make pay out minutes down the track. So Denmark took that left turn, and actually they looked quite good for a while, but that wind has wound round to the left. There's a left shift, which is just allowing the boats all on port tack to sail up the course at the moment.
Okay, we're just getting word from race management. They will finish at the windward gate, so the race will terminate in about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So the race is on. again for Group
Gotta
A.
get faster over
Yeah,
the Kiwis.
Slingsby Laser Olympic gold medalist in 2012.
Look at
That's
this.
a slow tactical boat. You've got to position, you've got to be patient. Well, he's given us a masterclass in that. Look at the angle they're sailing up the course. And two of the main protagonists in world sailing, Burling and Slingsby, are toe-to-toe. Slingsby's got to keep clear. Burling can turn him towards the wind. Bond's Flying Rouge have got to be sure to keep clear here. It's getting a big squeeze on. Slingsby's driving over the top. What an angle he's found at the top here. We call Outridge the Wind Whisperer. Slingsby's talking to it right now.
And the Emirates winning moment for the second time in Group A will belong to the Bonds Flying Rouge and Tom Slingsby, just ahead of the Black Foils and Peter Burling. And third place is going to go to DS Team France.
Oh, what a move on that upwind leg. Massive rotation in the breeze. Oh, Rockwool Denmark just can't get a break at the moment. They sailed such a good race, their brilliant start. Took the left turn, it was probably their only choice, but the wind rotates. Sometimes you've got to play the cards you're dealt, and wow, they did not get a good hand in that race.
Well, they're going to try to salvage some points here. It'll be Nikolai Seheset or it'll be the home team. Top of your screen, here comes Giles Scott, North Star Canada. Do they have the speed? Look at the differences. He's got the best angle, and I think North Star Canada is going to pick up 5th place, and they will get a point here in race number 2.
Good comeback there, but they're going to need points quickly on board North Star. What a tough race. That's a massive rotation left in the wind. It went back to much more what the wind had been before. That clouds moved past. Oh, well, I don't know if Slingsby read that like a book or if he's just got a magic sort of few cards stuck up his sleeves at the moment, but he's certainly pulling some tricks out of the hat.
He might be happier to talk to us than he was in the first race.
I think you might be right, yeah.
So unfortunately for Rockwool Denmark and Mubadala Brazil, who are in a top 3 position as they head downwind to that last gate, they take the left-hand side and they pay the prize as they will end up 6th and 7th at the bottom of Group number A's finish for race 2. Also getting breaking news here, because of the lighter breeze, it looks like Australia and the rest of Group A, they are done for the day. So just 2 fleet races for each Group A and Group B. So we'll have 1 more fleet race as we can now take a look at the final standings on day number 1. The Bonds Flying Rouge, a perfect 2 for 2, 10 points to them. The Black Foils check in 2nd place on 7. Los Giles in 3rd, then DS Team France, Mubadala Brazil, North Star and Rockwool Racing really struggling yet to pick up a point. Remember, since we're doing the split fleet racing, we will take 4 teams into the final, so the top 2 teams in Group A, Stevie, and right now it looks like the Bonds Flying Rouge and the Black Foils.
Yeah, Bonds Flying Rouge looks so good. Black Foils are back, Los Giles are in the match.
The anticipation has been building all week in Halifax as the league is back for its 2nd go in these waters. Prior to the race, and the teams are ready to go here in Halifax as they have met the media, they've met the fans, and Hannah, everyone's excited about coming to race in Halifax.
Yeah, it's an incredible city, and the fans really do show up in their thousands. It is an incredible sight to see, and let's hope we can get some good racing for the rest of today and tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's been slightly frustrating for them so far. The wind's just very, very changeable out here, but the froth and the fever on the shoreline's good there. We just need North Star to find some results tomorrow, get the fans fizzing overnight.
We take a look back at the highlights from that last race, and we have the wind coming from the top of the screen in this view of the start line. And quite often what that can mean is there can be a little bit less or a little bit more disturbed air down at that bottom end of the line. So as Mubadala Brazil, Rockwool Denmark and DS Automobiles Team France, who are at the top of the line, really took advantage of that slightly stronger wind, with Mubadala Brazil having a fantastic start, but it was Rockwool Denmark who managed to just get 1 hull up in the air and lead at Mark 1.
Yeah, and they stretched away here, Rockwool Denmark. There were some tricky decisions to make. Bonds Flying Rouge had a big loss at this point in proceedings, but they were patient. He was patient again at the bottom here. Los Gallos had made a good move. You can see it was just a little bit of positioning a few minutes ago that put Rockwool on the back foot. But yeah, as we came out of here, I don't know if it was luck or good judgment, but the Australians, well, they just got an angle. You can see they're nearly sailing straight up our ladder lines, progressing straight to the gate. And Well, it was a brilliant comeback, but again, they were patient early in the race. They didn't give it away after being given a pretty bad hand early on. And of course, there you go. There was a bit of foiling.
How about that?
1.2% Emirates fly
Gotta
time
be the
there
lowest
for the black
ever
foils.
for Emirates fly time.
Yeah. But they did get it going, and they got a second place, the Black Foils, and that puts them second overnight in Group A. It's all about being in the top 2 in your group and getting to that final race.
So we're now just 2:15 away from the final race of the day. Remember, we are in split fleet racing format because of the conditions and trying to reduce the congestion of all 13 boats being in a spot at the same time. So right now, we turn our attention to Group B, and this will be a situation for Emirates GBR, US SailGP, Artemis, Germany, Red Bull, Italy, and the Swiss. Remember, the Switzerland won race number 1. Artemis finished in race number 1 in second place, with Germany Deutsche Bank finishing in third. So a big opportunity now and a very big moment for US SailGP to claim some points here in the final fleet race of the day.
Waves crash underneath, sound like thunder speaking. Flying carbon machines, driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, powered by nature. We are SailGP.
Canadian fans out in force as we get ready for the final race of the day here at the Canada Sail Grand Prix Halifax. So here we go, one more race to go, and as it would be, Anna, can you believe Group B is going to get some breeze as the wind is picked up now to 19 kilometers an hour as the 6 boats get themselves into position here for the final race. The fans taking full advantage of the Vela Beach Club. The sun is out and we are set to go racing. So there it is, dipping down to 16.4, not quite enough. Looks like to foil Stevie. We're at 45 seconds to go for the final race.
Yeah, it's going to really take some accuracy at the start if you want to get off that line. And I think if I was going to take any lesson from season 6 here in SailGP, is that in the pre-start, be somewhere near where the US team are, because Canfield seems to be the master. But this is a rogue move here by the US team, turning back towards the fleet with 25 seconds to go. Artemis and the US team are really positioned early for the line. Red Bull Italy are coming in with speed. Bit of a sitting duck for the US team here. The Swiss, they're fast. Emirates GBR, they're fast as well. Can Outeridge accelerate the Swedish boat? Favoured positions at the top of the line, but he's a little bit early maybe. Rolex predictors on him, 7 seconds to go. I think they will be late down the line. Time to turn and burn on board Artemis at the top here. Looking for the line to turn white. They're all late, but the Swedish are going to be best off the line. It's a race to the foils here. Emirates GBR well positioned, but can Outeridge get this Swedish boat over the top of the fleet? There they go. Oh, it's just on the foil, struggling to get those rudders, giving the lift. Boat flattens out. Here they go.
Gonna be a high mode in here.
Tight angle for Emirates GBR. That's not good news for British fans, but they are foiling. They might be able to keep their nose clear, but the Swedish should be gone at Mark 1.
But what's great news to racing fans as they are up and foiling here in Halifax. Artemis approaching mark number 1. They will get the whole shot with Emirates GBR close behind and plenty of green numbers at the top of the mast.
Well, we did say it, Hannah. Get somewhere near the US team and take his lead and then execute. Can they execute this manoeuvre, though?
And turning. Reasonable pressure out of this.
Well, I think it was you, Stevie, that said that Artemis hadn't been great at starting, so they definitely probably were listening to that and wanted to prove you wrong. But I think they do look silky smooth around the course, so it'll be interesting to see what they do from here.
I think the direct quote was he can't start a lawnmower right now. Nathan Outeridge proving Stevie wrong.
Well, one fine day doesn't make a summer, Todd. We'll see how he goes for the rest of the event, but he's done a brilliant job in that one, that's for sure. And they're out in front. Germany here at the back of the pack. Tight manoeuvre. They've got to now keep clear. Those boats are allowed to keep turning, and you can see the boat falls off the foils. As soon as you're in around all these boats, there's so much disturbed wind. Italy have got to be careful of the US team here. The US may be just about to lose their clear wind. The Swiss team will be on them.
Explorer Switzerland won the first race for Group B. Artemis was in second. Germany by Deutsche Bank was in third.
What's really interesting is you just see the boats, when they go up at the front and the back doesn't follow, that's the sign that they've tried to take off without quite enough speed. There's not enough lift in the rudders. The German team just enough build speed. They're going to roll over the top, but down the course, already through the DP World Gate 2, Artemis and Emirates GBR. Emirates GBR shift away first. They're attacking here. Has the Swedish team found the breeze?
No rush on the takeoff.
Get patient. It's all about being patient in this race, Todd.
anyone needs a result here, it'll be Emirates GBR. Remember, they finished dead last in the first race. Remember, there's just 2 races today because of conditions, but it's Artemis who finished second in Group B. Steve, if they can hold on and get this win, that would be a 1-2, and they would be looking at Super Sunday and be perfect. Remember, each group will send 2 to the event final.
That's right. I mean, it's sort of, we're over halfway through the season in that race to Abu Dhabi. I feel for teams like the USA, Artemis, they're sort of pretenders to the Emirates GBR title, but they've got to start showing us that they've got the potential to get to it. So I do think it's crucial for Artemis, for United States, to make it to the final here in Halifax. As we can see right now, Emirates GBR, that's camera angle making it look like they're an awful lot quicker, but they've definitely got a nice shift in the breeze. There you go, that's because Artemis were pressing for the foil. See how the back's down? Oh, he's just judged it.
Just going to match the attack, okay?
Yeah, there you go. He decided to be patient. If you do go to foil, you can end up sailing a lot of extra distance. If the other boat's not foiling, be patient, stay with them, match them.
See the wind strength down to 14 kilometers an hour there, so just getting a little bit softer. And you do have to invest a lot of distance to get that speed to get up and foil and doing it, so sometimes it's not quite worth it.
I think if you think the other boat's not going to get on the foils either, sometimes the right thing to do is be patient and just keep it simple. If you're not certain, then play the percentages. And I think Nathan there was a bit of maturity. He was trying to push the kid in him, desperately wanting to get foiling, and then he told himself, no, calm down, let's slow it up. Put the block on board onto Dylan Fletcher. Tricky call at the next gate, Tom.
They have sailed into some light breeze right now as they approach this gate, as Artemis drops down to 16 kilometers an hour. Nathan, Chris Draper looking around, trying to find the pressure out on the water. There you see the blue lines coming. That's the wind direction and the strength, and not a whole lot right there.
Because it's middle mark finish, right?
You can see here, they've got the one hull up in the air on board Artemis. Draper's really got that wing pinned in. He's trying to make the boat heel over. He'll be right on the edge of stalling that wing at the moment. You can see it's rotated at the back of that main wing sail. Big call to make here. They've got to do a right or a left turn. And then they're going to go down to a downwind mark and then one more turn to the finish. Just 2 legs left. We're over halfway through. Emirates GBR are in no wind. They're probably going to have to split. They do. Here we go. They roll away. Artemis will turn right. Emirates GBR left. Where's the more wind? Lisa Darmanin, can you see where there's more breeze on the course right now?
Pressure when we get
it's hard to read with this glare and the cloud, but I actually do think where Emirates Great Britain are going is better. Generally, the boats have been able to kind of get a little bit of surge of pressure that way, but you know, Artemis is sailing really well here, and as you said, Nathan Atteridge does know a thing or two about finding the wind, but yeah, it's really, really tough out here.
Over 30 on board Artemis, 32 they're foiling. Emirates GBR right-hand side of screen, they're foiling as well. Only one more manoeuvre for Artemis, 2 more for Emirates GBR. That could be absolutely crucial because it's not easy to stay foiling here. Here go Emirates GBR, they've got one to do. Middle of our screen, that's where Artemis are going. They've got to watch out for the US team.
Down to one more leg. This is leg 4 of 5, the final fleet race of the day, as we are in a split fleet racing format. Just take away a little bit of the congestion with all 13 boards on a very, very tight course.
Yeah, and you can see right-hand side of screen, Emirates GBR fell off the foils in that manoeuvre. So Artemis, bottom left of our screen, he's off the foils, but tactically total control. What will be interesting is the Swiss team have taken a right turn at the top of the course, and they're potentially going to challenge Emirates GBR, but I think Emirates GBR were quite well stretched out in second. Could be crucial points for Dylan Fletcher and his team.
Maybe you come down, Julia.
Just tough sledding for the US SailGP team. They finished in 5th place in the first race. It looks like they are on their way to a last place finish unless they can overtake the Germans and the Italians. And right now it is still Artemis out in front, but look at Emirates GBR and the speed.
Yeah, they've got another manoeuvre to do though, Todd. I don't anticipate, well, they're fast, they're over 50. They should be able to stay foiling here, so they could potentially go round the outside here if he plays it. Might have to sail a lot of extra distance, but if they stick this manoeuvre, crucial manoeuvre here for the British team. Look how wide he's going. That's because he wants to be fast when he meets Artemis in a minute. He's got to try and stay foiling. He's foiling. He's nailed it. Swiss team are fast, but they won't make the mark. Big opportunity for Emirates GBR here. He's coming in nearly twice the speed, 40 kilometers an hour. He's got to sail through the disturbed wind of Artemis. but can he make it?
Here we go. The drag race is on. It'll either be Artemis or Emirates GBR, the defending champions from Season 5, as they come to the line. Just a few more meters to go. Will it be Artemis or will it be Emirates GBR? And the Wind Whisperer, Nathan Outteridge, is going to hold on for the win. Artemis claims the win just ahead of the British.
Oh, Todd, I thought you called that a bit early then. That was double speed. Great call by Todd Harris there coming into the line. Brave man calling that early. 1 second in it. Emirates GBR, brilliant from Fletcher. Set it up, super aggressive attack. We can see the Swiss now in 3rd place. Germany, Deutsche Bank, well, they're nicely set up tactically here. They should take another 4th, so more points for the German team. But yeah, what a race by those first two. And yeah, US SailGP team, well, for me, they were very unlucky in the first race. Didn't get what they deserved. Didn't have a great start here. The story of their season, though, is that they don't overtake a lot of boats. So the story of Artemis' season is they've not started well, but they overtake a load of boats. So if you give them a good start, they're gone.
Right.
The US team are brilliant starting. When they get out in front, they do a good job. But when they're a bit back, they struggle to move through the fleet.
How about Explore Switzerland here in Halifax? They win the first race. They back it up with a 3rd place, so they're going to be a good spot heading into Super Sunday. Germany, Deutsche Bank, they finished 3rd. They'll back it up with a 4th in their 2nd race, and Red Bull Italy will come in 5th.
Yeah, I mean, the Swiss are right in, aren't they? A 1 and a 3, 1 and a 2 for Artemis. So I think, you know, Emirates GBR are going to go in tonight. Maybe I can end up sounding disrespectful. They're the champions, right? They've made an awful lot of finals. They would expect in this group to be making that 4-boat final. They'd expect to be in the top 2 in this group. They're not right now, and I think they're going to have a little bit of work to do overnight to work out how they make things happen.
Look at the speed the Americans have found on the last leg as they come across at 43 kilometers an hour. They run out of real estate here in Halifax, and they will finish in 6th place to go with a 5th place finish in race number 1. So a little bit of reconfiguring for them as they get ready for Super Sunday. Remember, there'll be 2 more races, and then we'll have the event final with 4 teams in the event final battling for the title here in Canada. So we are down on the water now, and Artemis, winners of race number 2, 2nd place in race number 1. Nathan Outteridge and crew. Nathan, congratulations. First of all, tell us about the conditions out there, and also, what is it like for split fleet racing for you guys?
The conditions are very variable. As you can probably see, there's been lots of rain cells around all over the place, and yeah, really niggly trying to work out if you need to foil or not. I think we got 2 better races in terms of wind. We had nice foiling conditions. And the split fleet is nice in this breeze. There's a little bit more fresh air for it. So, yeah, we enjoyed that.
Nathan, midway through the season, would you say it's absolutely essential you come away with a sort of top 1 or 2 finish here in that race to Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, I think you're right, Stevie. For sure, that's what we're trying to do. We've set ourselves up pretty nicely, and we've just got to have a good day tomorrow. But yeah, we're right in the mix, and we're just not sort of converting it when it counts. So hopefully today's the day.
Nathan, appreciate your time. We wish you the best of luck tomorrow on Super Sunday.
Thanks, guys.
Nathan Outteridge is the driver for Artemis as they finish with a 2nd and a 1st in Group B. Let's go back and take a look at the highlights, Hannah.
Yeah, and it was a bit of a different approach for some of the teams here, having to really slow the boat, maneuver the boat, and then build speed to be on time at the start. Different approaches from Artemis and Emirates GBR. Artemis really close to the line. Emirates GBR happy to be a little bit later, but get the boat up as fast as possible when the start gun went.
Yeah, I think the Artemis team did a nice job of sort of holding the fleet back. Often in this light winds, if you can lead the fleet back, you have a bit more control, but Emirates GBR did a great job. You get stuck in the pack, as we can see here. There's so much disturbed wind, and you've just got so little control over your manoeuvres. The British and the Swedish, well, they had a pretty tight fight around the course here, but a bit of a day for patience, Hannah.
Yeah, that's right. And you feel the intensity coming from Chris Draper, the wing trimmer on Artemis, who was really kind of willing the boat around that mark. But Emirates GBR did an incredible job. It looked like they were stuck in absolutely nothing to get up on the foil from there and really challenge Artemis towards the finish, which is some amazing racing.
Yeah, it was a pretty good job, wasn't it? And I think that's an interesting thing. The British team do have that ability to come back. They needed a big last race, and there you go, 43.9% Emirates fly time. Well, they needed it at the bottom of that race. They got right back in it in the 2nd place. Keeps the hope of the British team alive overnight, that's for sure. So, tight days racing.
All right, more numbers to crunch before we say goodbye, Hannah, and the numbers never lie.
No, that's right, but it was a couple of different things which led to the win in this race. Sailing a shorter distance really paid dividends with some fewer number of manoeuvres, definitely suited these conditions. So they'll be looking to take that forwards and information into tomorrow.
All right, so here's how it looks for Group B. Nathan Outeridge, he brings it across with a 2 and a 1, so they lead it with 9 points. Explorer Swiss a 1 and a 3, not a bad day for them. They sit in second place, and then a gap back to Germany. Deutsche Bank, Emirates GBR, a lot of work to do tomorrow for Red Bull Italy and the US SailGP team if they want any shot of making the 4-boat event final, first time in league history. Different story for Group number A. It was dominated by the 3-time champions and winners of the last 3 events, Bons Flying Roos. Somehow Tom Slingsby found a way, despite having to re-race race number 1. He gets 2 1s. Blackfoils welcome back Peter Burling as they are in second place on 7 points. Very close with Los Gallos, DS Team France, and then it's Mubadala Brazil, North Star, and Rockwell Racing. Well, after the racing, Lisa Darmanin catching up with the driver of the Bons Flying Roos, Tom Slingsby.
Tom, it's been a challenging day out here, but you guys nailed it. What was the trick?
It wasn't any trick. A bit of luck definitely helped. Honestly, it was just really tough. We felt a bit hard done by in that first race to finish and then say it didn't count. I was a bit frustrated. But, honestly, there's so many changing things. The start marks are moving during the race. The marks you're heading to that you're pointing straight at are moving, and so it wasn't the fairest racing as for an athlete, like you know everything that's happening, but the race committee the wind was all over the shop. The race committee was like scrambling to get fair courses in and courses in the time limits. So I understand why it happened. It's just, unfortunately, the weather gods didn't play ball, but I mean, fortunately for us, we got some good races.
I think you were 2 seconds out of the time limit that first race, but that 2 seconds made the difference to win that last run. How'd you pick the shift in the last one, or was that a bit of luck?
That was full luck. Yeah, no, I finished that race just saying that was all luck. I just tacked because I couldn't keep going straight, and we ended up on the ley line. And my team was saying don't say it's luck, say you picked it, but the truth is that was pure luck.
Well, he's pretty honest, and you've got to say they got a lot of things right today, but at the bottom of the line it was the Blackfoils with the Rolex best time start, 0.37 seconds back from the gun. It wasn't super high speed, but it was still precision accurate at the start from the Blackfoils.
And the DP World highest speed of the day goes to the US SailGP team with 68 kilometers an hour. Pretty fast given the conditions, and just with this 5-up configuration, really going as fast as they can.
So day 1 is in the books at the Canada Sail Grand Prix Halifax, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship, and what a day it was. Different conditions almost for every race, but the big winners have got to be the Bons Flying Roos and Artemis, Stevie.
Absolutely, I mean, they serve brilliantly, and Slingsby, he keeps delivering, doesn't he? And I'd say the Blackfoils as well, they're back, good performance. In fact, all the top 2 teams, it's the Swiss team, so I think there's a lot of winners out of the day. I think for teams like the US who really need a result here, they're going to be frustrated.
Yeah, and points matter on a day like today, so it's going to be plenty going on tomorrow. Not that many races left to make that first ever 4-boat final.
History being made in the league one more time as we go to split fleet racing, and tomorrow will be more of the same. And as Hannah pointed out, it'll just be 4 teams, Stevie. Top 2 is what you got to be in your group to get into that final.
Top 2's got to be, and Tom Slingsby said he was lucky. Lucky maybe, I don't think so. You get given a hand of cards, you've got to play it how you play it, and he's playing it very well.
All right, so everyone sleep well north of the border in Canada, and we will do it all again on Super Sunday for the final day of the Canada Sail Grand Prix Halifax, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship. For Stevie Morrison, Hannah Diamond, and Lisa Darmanin, I'm Todd Harris. So long from Halifax. We'll see you for Super Sunday. Welcome to the Canada Sail Grand Prix Halifax.
We've got 2 groups on the water, Group A and B.
Race number 1 goes the way of the Bons Flying Roos. Big victory, and what a way to start out.
Burling and Slingsby are toe-to-toe. Oh, what a move on that.
Oh, will it be Artemis or will it be Emirates GBR? Artemis claims the win just ahead of the British.